Okay, so I send people my recipes. I guess it's hard to like read for whatever fucking reason. Anyway, if you want to cook beef vindaloo, 20 meals for yourself, 25 meals, this is what you'll need. It's in the comments of the video or the description, so it's all there. This is super important to get one of these. Go to a local butcher, cooking shop. It will make life heaps fucking easier. Alright, we're going to go on to cutting up the beef and how to cut the fat off. Not to get OCD about it, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so big ass rump. I'm going to cut it up into steaks, basically about that thick. And now steaks. Now with the cutting off of the fat on rumps, you'll have that piece, which is fucking gross. It's super hard, you don't want that. That's that. And whilst the fat is where the flavour comes from, so you leave all of this stuff in, which is flavour. You just want to get rid of these big chunks of it, because it's supposed to be healthy. Tasty and healthy is the idea, and you don't need all that fat, so do that to all your steaks. Alright, most of the big chunks of fat gone, still a little bit of fat in it, but nothing to be too worried about. Now you just want to get all your pieces and cut them up. That's a shitty bit off the end, but just want to cut them up into about 1-inch cubes, so they're sort of good for eating. Don't worry if there's a little bit of sinew and stuff in there, because we're sort of slow cooking it in the oven. It will all melt into the sauce and give it a beautiful flavour. Now it is kind of important to pay attention to the sizes, because that'll be a bit too big to be mouthful size. So you do want to pay attention. Just make sure they're all what are going to be a nice mouthful. The more attention to detail you give when you're doing this stage, the better the whole meal will be in the end. And you can cut the big pieces in the strips, like so. And that makes it easier to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. Again, sharp knife is fucking awesome. And a huge time saver, because you can see just how quickly and easily it goes with a sharp knife. Alright, good little trick is when you're doing this, sides of the knife get covered in blood, which makes it very sticky, makes it go through the meat slower, and makes it a pain in the ass. And it's good to just give it a quick brush on the steel every like second or third steak. Keep it nice and sharp. Rinse your knife off, it'll go through really quickly and really easily. Alright, so that's all cut up into chunks. I forgot to mention you need flour. There's good reasons for flouring meat and browning it. If you want to know what they are, read a bunch of fucking cookbooks or something. I'm not going to explain it, just take my word for it. So what you do, a couple of handfuls of flour, a little bit more meat in, roll it over like so. Don't be a faggot and worry about getting stuff on your hands. Here we go, and then we get our fry pan, chuck them on the heat. You want it pretty hot. We're just adding some colour. Don't worry about oil, she'll be fine. And you do this in batches. Alright, now that is got some heat to it. Just sort of as you take it out of the flour, just shake off the excess. You don't want too much fucking flour in there. Now you'll see I'm not putting 10 pounds of beef in there, just kind of covering the fry pan, because if you do go crazy it'll turn into a big old soup. So unfortunately, even though you're doing a couple kilos of the stuff, you do have to do it in a series of batches. So That'll start heating and sizzling. I'll show you in a moment, and it'll get a bit of brown on it. You turn it over a couple of times, it's got a bit of brown colour to it. Then you put it in a bowl to one side, then you do your next batch. Repeat, 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 then it's all done. Alright, little bit of colour. So that's batch one done. Put it inside, in a bowl like so. And then next batch, about the same amount. Not trying to crowd the pan with too much. Don't worry about the burnt shit on the bottom of the pan. That's going to be great for the sauce that we're going to make in there. We'll be deglazing that with some beef stock, as the lardy-dar cooks say. But yeah, and this is super fucking tedious, but probably 4 or 5 batches. But that's why I've resorted to drinking. There we go. Delicious. Okay, this is the last batch of the browning of meat, and the tedious part of that is over. Now we get on to the making of the sauce, which is super quick and super easy. So, before we get on to the cooking of the sauce, we turn the oven on so it gets hot. 180 degrees, what you want your oven on. Bing bang boom. 180. Alright, now we do the sauce. Super easy. Cut one onion. Now, I don't need to cut it up super fine or anything because it's sort of casserole-y style. Peeling of onions. One peeled onion. See, not cut up super fine. Alrighty. In, heat on. Bit of olive oil to keep that company. Nuclear, sort of reading, I think. Cool. Alright, fry that for a minute till it goes a bit translucent. Alright, while the onion's frying, you can start on this super fucking tedious job. This is grating 2 gigantic fucking sweet potatoes. Yes, it'll make a fucking giant pile of sweet potatoes, but it's messing the madness, it's mostly water, blah blah blah, carbs, sauce, vitamins, all that other shit. Just do it while the onion's frying, and you're making the sauce, you're doing other shit. Anyway. I'm not sweating, you're sweating. That wasn't hard at all. There we go. Couple kilos of ground up sweet potato. Now for the sauce. Super easy, alright. Onion fried through, grab a spoon. Indian curry paste, not curry sauce, curry paste. Curry paste is just herbs with some oil to bind it together. So nothing bad in there. 1 whole bottle of crushed garlic. 1 whole bottle of crushed ginger, because you are cooking a big volume of food. Seems like a lot. It's actually the right amount. You'll trust me when you taste it. 1 thing of tomato paste. 1 generous spoon of peanut butter, because it adds something. couple of spoons of turmeric, because it's super good for you. And when I say spoons, I mean dessert spoons, not teaspoons. Crushed tomato. Crushed tomato. Alright, see that texture? Probably want a little bit moister than that. I'm just adding beef stock just to get the right texture. That's about right. Now we just let that simmer for about 5 minutes for the flavours to combine, and we're ready to start making lasagna. Okay, so now we make lasagna. Lasagna, you go a bit of sauce at the bottom of your pan, a bit of sauce in the bottom of your pan. You spread that out like a sieve. Spread that out like a sieve. Lovely. And then a layer of this. Like so. And then you get a layer of your beef. Like a so. Drop some, and then sauce, and saucy, sauce, layer, art, and so forth. Okay, there we go. Curry lasagna. Yes, you're probably thinking, geez, bro, that looks pretty dry. Yes, but the beef has got lots of moisture in it. The sweet potato's got shitloads of moisture in it. Don't fucking worry about it. She'll be right, mate. Cover with alfoil. Make a stew. You know how to cover shit with alfoil, right? And then chuck into the oven, your preheated oven now. 180 degrees for 1 hour. That is not it finished cooking. That's stage 1 of it cooking, don't you worry. Alright. Going in the oven. Helps if you get a fucking massive oven. Boom. Okay. That's hot. Alright, see what I said? Oh, looks a bit dry, mate. Oh, look at all that sauce. How about that? You just turn him over. Look at that. Sweet potatoes start to break up. Turn into a curry looking thing. Yeah. Oh, look, it's nice and moist. Good mixeroo. Now it's not finished yet. It's going to go back in for another hour. But it's starting to look pretty good. It's starting to smell fucking amazing, let me tell you. We'll just add a little bit of water to that. Oil back on. Stops drying out on the top. Oil back on. Open. Another hour and you're done. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. 2 hours. That's warm. Uno. Due. Can hear it bubbling away. Sounds pretty good. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. And you can see all the sweet potato is completely disintegrated. You can't see it. It's got a really thick, rich sauce around the beef. You just turn it over. All the sweet potato just melts away into nothing. And you just end up with a beautiful, thick, rich sauce. I'll just add a little bit of water to that just to give it make it a bit more soupy, because you're mixing it with rice when you serve it up. So let me just show you how much water I'm going to add to that. Boom, in each one of these. Boom. Just gonna mix that through. Look at that, lovely. Alrighty, ta-da! These Tupperwares are really good because you see you've got the rice separated from curry. Now it's very important when you're freezing to do that, because if you put the two together, the rice will suck all the moisture out of the curry, and when you microwave it, you'll end up with disgusting slop. When I package them up, I put a shot glass of water in with each one. For the average person, 200 grams of curry, 200 grams of rice. I use white rice, I use medium grain. That seems to work pretty well for me. You won't feel bloated after lunch or tired, etc., because blah 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 science of the various ingredients and insulin release patterns, yada yada yada. This was about 6.5 kilo rump, and that has made 19 meals. I had one while I was packing it all up. So that's 4 weeks of lunches, and it probably took start to finish, including the packing and the rice and stuff, 4 hours. You think 4 hours cooking, pain in the ass, but you know, 4 weeks of having healthy lunches that are on diet. Chuck in some smoothie recipes from me and the chicken. You know, you've got a day on Sunday of cooking, and that's you with perfect healthy meals for an entire month. So there you go. If you need me to show you how to cook rice, then what's the fucking wrong with you? It's not that hard. You put it in a pot, you boil it, you go, is that cooked? Yes, it is. You take it off, you drain it, the end. Anyway, hope this has been useful, and you know, it's easier than reading a recipe, being able to actually see me go through the steps and bits and pieces. Yeah, enjoy. Delicious.